And I want to thank all those sponsors, and may our learning in the next few minutes, may our attention, may our connection serve as a merit in their memory, and their memory should serve as a blessing for us. This is a difficult week as a parsha to speak about, very ritualistic in its nature, but it brings us to mind of a moment in the Mikdash once a year, when the atmosphere on Temple Mount was stricken. For as far as the eye could see, masses of people enveloped the high priest while he stood and he pled for national clemency. 4 times that day he changed his clothes, shuttling between white and golden robes with immersions and incense and sprinklings and offerings. And the sacrificial service of Yom Kippur comprised the most intricate ritual choreography of the year. And so intricate and complex was it that for 7 days in advance, the high priest had to be sequestered and trained, taught what to do and what to lane, and how to combat the prospect of crossing the sanctuary's consecrated drapes. As the books of life and death lay open, as our survival itself depended on his singular devotion, as everybody's fate and future was chosen, nothing was left to chance, with one main exception. Natan Aaron an shnei seirim goralot. Aaron put lots on 2 goats. Goral achad laHashem, v'goral achad la'Azazel. As I mentioned in the Parsha share last night, 1 goat was sacrificed in the Mikdash, and the other was sent out to Azazel. And while the goat destined for God was slaughtered and offered on the altar, the other was given not just out to the Midbar, but to an agent who was waiting in the wings to make this delivery. Shilach bayad, it was sent in the hand of whom? Ish iti, the man of iti. And it was sent with him, Hamidbara, into the desert, where he would deliver it to an uneven cliff and push it off into the abyss. Which brings me straight to my question. Who is this agent, this figure waiting in the wings? Who is this Ish iti? And the medieval mystics of the Zohar describe him as disfigured, a figure with a sinister complexion and a menacing squint, whose physical form symbolically embodied the sins that he would bury in the desert. But putting the mystical imagination to one side, what does Ish iti mean? Who is this man of iti? And there are 2 views that I would like to share with you this afternoon, beginning in France with Magister Leo Hebreus, the 14th century spiritual contemplative, known more commonly to us as Gersonides, or even more commonly as the Ralbag. And for him, the meaning of Ish iti can be revealed on the basis of the scene following Noah's exit from the ark. Noah emerged from a 40-day storm unscathed to greet a new world that replaced a failed existence. And other than his 3 sons and their wives and his own, there is no other human life on the planet. So he stands, Noah, as the sole heir of Homo sapien power. And he is referred to by God in that moment as Ish Ha'adamah, which means not merely for the Ralbag, man of the earth in a derogatory sense. He was just an Ish Ha'adamah, but for the Ralbag, Ish Ha'adamah means he was the master of the earth, Baal Ha'adamah. Noah was the reigning sentient being, the highest conscious authority, the planet having been cleansed of vice. He was the figure vested with the power to shape an earthly paradise. While God ruled from the heavens, Noah was the terrestrial director. He was the Ish Ha'adamah. And for the Ralbag, if Ish Ha'adamah means the master of the earth, Ish iti means the master of Et. And what is Et? In Hebrew, in biblical Hebrew, Et is time. Like the word atah, for now. He is the Baal Ha'et, that is the Ish iti. And in the Ralbag's reading, there are, he says, temperamental people who are tentative and unreliable. They hesitate and procrastinate and equivocate. But in the case of this state messenger carrying our sins into the wilderness, we need a figure who is dependable. We need someone who will not wince as they walk toward the threats of the desert, someone who will not fall for the tricks of the sand or falter in the face of intense heat. We need someone resolute who knows the way through the midbar. In short, we need someone to whom time is no obstacle. This is the Ish Iti, the man who can go at a moment's notice. For the Ralbag, this Ish Iti had to be well practiced in surviving in the wild. He had to be an orienteer, shalarov hargalo b'halichaba midbarot, through his familiarity with the desert, lo yamtin, he won't delay. He must reach his destination undeterred. He must depart on time and not defer. He must push the goat off a cliff and our sins into an abyss, and nothing must get in his way, because our fate hangs in the balance and our future lies in his hands. That's the first view, what Ish Iti means, the master of time. Through experience and familiarity with the route, nothing will hold him back. But we shift to the second view now, which leaves us in France once more, but a century earlier, with a figure called the Chizkuni, who agrees with the Ralbag's translation that Ish Iti means master of time, but he disagrees with the characterization. The Ish Iti is a master of time for the Chizkuni, but he does not have to know the desert. He doesn't have to be familiar with the wilderness's tracks. For the Chizkuni, the Ish Iti masters time, but by very different means, not through practice, but attitude, not through dexterity, but a wisdom accrued through misfortune. For the Chizkuni, there is a single requirement for the post of Ish Iti: Shehigia Zmano Lemot Toch Ota Shana, that this is a figure who will die in the coming year. To select our sacrificial agent, the Chizkuni says, we do not consult outdoorsmen for an expert, but doctors for a terminal patient. The year to come, which the Ish Iti assures for the nation through his ritual labor, must be his last. The Ish Iti must look into the future and see unbridled finitude. He must look toward tomorrow and know that he won't see another Yom Kippur. He must recognize the confines of his now defined and delimited lifespan. This is who the Ish Iti must be for the Chizkuni. It is not his expertise, but his infirmities that unleash the present moment as more than a passing phase and make it a portal to eternity. The man who buries our pasts and bequeaths us our future must understand the potency of the present moment. The man who we send with our sins deep into the desert, who stands as a model for our penitence, must recognize the power of now. He must know that this is his last year, that every minute, every second, every hour, every day, every moment counts. He must breathe the creed of Henry David Thoreau, who said that fools stand on their island of opportunities and look toward another land. The Ish Iti must feel and believe with deep sincerity the acronym conceived by the Jewish vocalist who is only 1 month my senior, Aubrey Drake Graham, who coined the popularized YOLO, you only live once, the modern version of the Roman poet Horace's phrase, Carpe Diem. And of course, with this in mind, it is natural for us as people to procrastinate. It is natural for us as people to defer. It is natural for us as natives of history to lie in the bondage of time. It is easy for us to drift into the future as objects of fate, unmindful of the weeks and the minutes and the months that pass us by. So once a year, we are all reminded on Yom Kippur of the power that now can possess to forge our destinies, to recharge our energies and bolster our faith in ourselves. And for that reason, we have the Ish Iti that can be translated as the now man. The Ish Iti, he shows us the way. And I can only speak for myself, but particularly over the past few weeks, as so much of our structures have been thrown into disarray, time has felt interrupted. At times, it feels that our lives are on hold as we await and anticipate and pray for life and times to return to normal. But now is precisely the moment to become an ish iti or an isha iti, to be a master of time and refuse to allow this virus that has robbed us of so much to rob us of our time as well. So as we literally count the days, every day from now till Shavuot, attuning our minds to the passage of time, let us use the time that is ours to lose and make our days feel more full. And on that note, I want to wish you all a productive Shabbat, one filled with song and rest and leisure and learning, one in which we all harness the power of now. I want to wish you all a Shabbat Shalom. I will unmute you all momentarily.